Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss on how to answer questions on Alat Tulis. So it's going to be tip menjawab soalan Alat Tulis. Okay, so in this easy to understand video, I'm going to show you all the situation where the questions can ask about Alat Tulis and how you would actually do the calculation for them. Okay, so before that, let us make some assumptions, andaian. So the tempoh perakaunan adalah dari 1 Januari 2018 until 31st December 2018. So this is going to be the tempoh perakaunan that we're going to refer to when we're doing the questions in this package. And for the sake of this discussion, I am going to call akaun perdagangan dan untung rugi as APUR and penyata kedudukan kewangan as PKK. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. Okay, the next slide tells us pengelasan alat tulis. So there are two types of pengelasan alat tulis. The first one is belanja alat tulis. So when do you actually tell that alat tulis adalah kategori belanja? Inventory yang digunakan dalam tempoh perakaunan. That means inventory alat tulis which was used in the tempoh perakaunan. So later in the calculation, I'll show you how do you find out apakah inventory alat tulis yang telah digunakan dalam tempoh perakaunan. Okay, so the one yang telah digunakan dalam tempoh perakaunan, that will go into APUR under kategori belanja. Okay, now let's go to the other pengelasan, which is inventory alat tulis. So what is inventory alat tulis pula? Okay, inventory alat tulis is baki akhir inventory yang belum digunakan pada akhir tempoh perakaunan. That means what is left over after the end of the tempoh perakaunan. So for this question, the assumption that we're making is the tempoh perakaunan berakhir pada 31st of December 2018, correct? So whatever inventory alat tulis which is left over at that time is the one that we would call it as inventory alat tulis, and it would go into PKK under category asset semasa. Okay, now let's go into the types of questions that can come out for alat tulis. Okay, so this is the first type of situation. Situasi pertama, alat tulis diberikan sebagai salah satu butir dalam imbangan duga. So it is just given as one item in imbangan duga, and you don't have any other information at all. There's nothing in maklumat tambahan. There is nothing else which is mentioned in the rest of the question. So what do you do in this type of situation? You take the amount of alat tulis, which is given 150, and you directly write it in APUR as belanja, and it goes under alat tulis. Do you have anything to write in PKK? No, it's because the question did not mention anything about baki akhir, or there is leftover of inventory alat tulis pada akhir tempoh perakaunan. So here we take this number and we directly put it under belanja alat tulis. So that would be the first situation where they can ask questions on alat tulis. Now, let us go to the next situation. Situasi yang kedua. Alat tulis diberikan sebagai salah satu butir dalam imbangan duga dan maklumat tambahan. So if you see the difference in this second situation is they have given maklumat tambahan. Okay, so now let's see what they've given in imbangan duga first. So apa yang diberi dalam imbangan duga is the same thing. Alat tulis, they gave 150 on the debit side. Okay. What did they do in maklumat tambahan? They said that alat tulis yang tidak habis digunakan is 90 ringgit. So from here, you should already know that this is the baki akhir inventory alat tulis yang belum habis digunakan. So this is your baki akhir. Okay, now, how do you calculate apakah alat tulis yang telah digunakan? Because that is what you need to put in your APUR, right? Alat tulis yang telah digunakan. Okay, so pengiraan. The belanja alat tulis yang digunakan. Okay, so you take the amount imbangan duga which is 150 and you tolak dengan baki akhir. What's our baki akhir? This one, 90 ringgit. So you take 150 minus with 90 ringgit, you get 60 ringgit. So this is the amount of alat tulis that you have used in the tempoh perakaunan. Where does this go into? This goes into APUR as belanja. And you write alat tulis and you write as 60 ringgit. Okay, now, what goes into PKK? Okay. Alat tulis yang tidak habis digunakan, the 90 ringgit, that is baki akhir. So remember when the beginning of the package I mentioned that baki akhir yang belum digunakan, it goes into PKK as aset semasa. So this is where it goes into. So the baki akhir, you'll take it and put it under aset semasa, and you would write as alat tulis 90. Okay. So what would be the summary here? The summary here is alat tulis yang digunakan dalam tempoh perakaunan dikategorikan sebagai belanja, which is correct, the 60 ringgit here, and baki akhir sebagai aset semasa, the 90 ringgit here. Okay, so this is the second situation. Okay, now let's go to the third situation. This one is a bit different. This one they did not give imbangan tukar and there is no maklumat tambahan. So what did they give? They gave baki awal dan atau baki akhir. Why did I put it like this is because sometimes not every time they would give both the baki awal and the baki akhir. Sometimes they can give baki awal, sometimes they can only give baki akhir, and sometimes they can give both. So that's the reason I put dan and atau here. Okay. Serta belian alat tulis diberikan. So how do you know which one is the belian? How do you know which one is the baki awal? How do you know which is the baki akhir? Okay, now let's go into the question. Okay, so what did they give in the question? The question gave buku tunai, baki awal dan baki akhir. So this is your buku tunai. And if you see, there is an item here which they have bought alat tulis for 150 ringgit. So this is my belian for that tempoh perakaunan. How much alat tulis did I buy in that tempoh perakaunan? I bought 150. But at the same time, in your baki awal and your baki akhir also, you still have alat tulis. So what does this mean? So on the 1st of January, at the beginning of your tempoh perakaunan, you had 300 ringgit worth of alat tulis. And then, what did you do? You went and bought another 150. So this is what this 150 means. And at the end of your tempoh perakaunan, how much is left? 200 is left. So how do you find out berapakah amount alat tulis yang telah digunakan pada tempoh perakaunan? So you take your baki awal, which is your 300 ringgit, and then you plus with your belian because you did buy, right? You bought extra alat tulis. So you add with the extra alat tulis that you bought, 150. And then you minus the 200 because this 200 you didn't use finish, correct or not? So you have to minus this 200. And what do you get? You get 250. So 250 is the amount of alat tulis that you have used in that tempoh perakaunan. And this is what you'd categorize as belanja alat tulis. And where will that go? This 250, it will go to Apur as belanja. So you write as alat tulis and you write 250. What would you put in your PKK? It is the baki akhir. Inventory alat tulis yang belum habis digunakan akan dimasukkan sebagai alat tulis di bawah aset semasa in PKK. So what is the summary that we can get from here? Alat tulis yang digunakan dalam tempoh perakaunan dikategorikan sebagai belanja, which is the 250 ringgit here, and the baki akhir sebagai aset semasa. The one which you haven't used finish, that is the one that will go under your aset semasa. The one that you have used for the tempoh perakaunan, that would go under your apur. So that is how you would actually make a calculation for your alat tulis. I hope this simple video would improve your understanding on how you would answer your alat tulis question. Thank you. If you would want more tips on how to answer SPM Prinsip Perakaunan questions, please click on the Telegram and join the team. And weekly tips will be provided on Prinsip Perakaunan SPM questions. Thank you.